Guys, big breaking news coming out. Russia warns US president nuclear test will lead to chaos. Once again, a DEFCON warning. This is a big breaking news here, guys. I just posted a video not too long ago. Similar topic. The link would be in the comments box. There was this map that was revealed of what if, US, Russia, the Red Dragon, North Korea goes nuclear, London, Los Angeles, New York, Moscow, Beijing, you name it, could all be impacted by this nuclear stuff. A senior Russian lawmaker has warned that any U.S. move to resume nuclear testing halted since 1992 would trigger a destabilizing chain reaction, accusing Washington of undermining global strategic stability and violating the spirit of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Thank you again for your support, guys. I really appreciate it. So once again, you have the bear is warning Donald not to do this because it could lead to again huge escalations. So it says here the bear lawmaker, the Russian lawmaker Leonid Slutsky, warned that U.S. nuclear testing could trigger global instability. Once again, Slutsky said resuming test will start a chain response and undermine strategic stability. Once again, number 3, the U.S. halted nuclear test in 1992, but has not ratified the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Number 4, Russia maintains a voluntary moratorium on testing, but only under equal and parity conditions. And number 5, Slutsky comments follow the U.S. Commander-in-Chief reported directive to the Pentagon to resume nuclear testing. Alright, so once again, these are very important updates here, guys. 7 minutes ago, Russia criticizes U.S. nuclear testing order. Wow. So this was posted not too long ago. So it says here the Russian Federation Council Vice Speaker has condemned the U.S. President directive to resume U.S. nuclear testing, arguing it violates the long-standing international agreements. Though the U.S. signed the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty in 1996, it never ratified it. Once again, you have Kosachev emphasized that under the Vienna Convention, signatories must avoid actions that undermine a treaty's purpose. So once again, the bear's not pleased. They are not pleased with Donald. But here's the thing. Putin has been flexing his muscle. Again, they just test launched Borisnik, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is a nuclear equipment. They also tested Poseidon. That's the nuclear submarine that could cause a huge massive tsunami, radiation tsunami. So they've been again flexing their muscles. So that's what's making Donald respond back. So Donald has urged Pentagon to immediately test nuclear. It says here the U.S. has observed a moratorium on nuclear testing since 1992. Once again, following the Soviet halt in 1990. That was the time, I think, Ronald Reagan. Once again, it says here Kosachev accused the U.S. and NATO of seeking unilateral military advantages by dismantling arms control frameworks, prompting the bear to advance its own strategic systems. Russia recently completed tests of Borisnek cruise missile, which flew for 15 hours over 14,000 kilometers, and the Poseidon underwater drone, described by officials as a doomsday weapon. Moscow maintained these developments are defensive responses to Western provocation. All right, so you guys already know the Bear has tested some very powerful equipments, doomsday equipments. All right, the reason why is because they're saying that the Western is, again, becoming too aggressive. And you have Donald slapping sanctions on the Bear, on Russia oil companies. And so ever since that, Russia has been testing their doomsday weapon. And now Donald is responding back by ordering nuclear testing. None of this is leading to peace. It's not leading to peace. 20 minutes ago, which countries are in NATO? Okay, so we're going to skip this one here. So, yeah, we're going to skip this one here. So, you have 32 countries, which, they didn't even put the name of the countries. So, I thought they were going to have a list. Yeah, there's no list. That's pretty messed up. All right, so 31 minutes ago, Russia cited NATO tensions and justify Borisnek missile development. Now, it says here, the Bear has defended its development of the Borisnek nuclear-powered cruise missile as a necessary response to what it calls NATO destabilizing action. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria said the system is part of efforts to maintain strategic balance amid growing concerns over Western missile defense initiatives. October 26, Russia's top military official, Valery, informed Putin that Borisnek had completed a successful test flight. The missile reportedly remained airborne for 15 hours and traveled 14,000 kilometers, executing complex maneuvers designed to evade detection and interception. Once again, it says here, Russian officials maintain that the missile capability are still being explored, while Western analysts viewed the development as a sign of escalating military posturing between Moscow and NATO. And we already know about this here, guys. There's a lot of good information coming out with this one. 44 minutes ago, the Red Dragon, China, the Red Dragon more than doubled nuclear stockpile within 5 years. Man, these countries are getting nukes ready. You got the Red Dragon, they're going to build a lot more. The Red Dragon has more than doubled its nuclear stockpile in recent years, although it still has just over a tenth of nuclear capability of the US. It now has around 600 nuclear warheads in 2025, up from 300 in 2020. Wow, they just doubled. Now, according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, now U.S. military officials believe that the Red Dragon will have more than 1,000 nuclear by 2030, just under a fifth of the American stockpile if the U.S. numbers do not also increase. The U.S. has a stockpile of 5,225, and the Bear has 5,580, Washington-based Arms Control Association said. Donald nuclear announcement sparks alarm. He is misinformed, it says. The resumption of nuclear equipment testing by the U.S. will undermine national security arms control, advocate told the news. Darrow, executive director of the Arms Control Association, denounced the U.S. commander directed for the Department of War to immediately restart nuclear testing for the first time in more than 30 years as reckless and unclear. Somebody needs to talk to an adult at the White House and find out what in the world he's talking about. Kimball told Newsweek early Thursday, I can't discern his grumblings beyond what you can. If he's talking about resuming weapons test explosion for the first time since 1992, he is misinformed about what's that for and whether it's necessary. Kimball said the U.S. commander announcement on Truth Social on Wednesday was likely to spark strong opposition in Nevada, where the last nuclear detonation in the U.S. occurred underground, as well as potential ramification abroad. Man. Even the UN is sounding the alarm. The UN slams the U.S. plans to restart nuclear testing. The UN Secretary General slammed Donald announcement that the U.S. will begin testing its nuclear again for the first time in more than 30 years. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys are talking about nukes out there with France and Germany. Secretary General is not pleased. Warned on Thursday that current nuclear risks are already alarmingly high for other countries that followed the U.S. example. We must never forget the disastrous legacy of over 2,000 nuclear tests carried out over the last 80 years. My goodness, 2,000? Wow. 2,000? Nuclear testing can never be permitted under any circumstances. The Red Dragon is also worried. The Red Dragon calls for U.S. to abide by a moratorium on nuclear testing. Once again, the Red Dragon Foreign Ministry has urged the U.S. to abide by its commitment to a de facto international moratorium on nuclear testing. Ministry spokesperson Guo also called on the U.S. to take concrete actions to safeguard global strategic stability. It is not yet clear if the U.S. commander meant the U.S. will resume nuclear explosive testing, which will be carried out by the National Nuclear Security Administration, or flight testing of nuclear-capable missiles. The Bear's not pleased. The Bear responds to dawn on nuclear testing threat, cites moratorium. Once again, the Kremlin, has stated that the Bear has not recently conducted nuclear tests, but would reconsider its position if the U.S. breaks the global moratorium. The response came after Donald ordered the Pentagon to resume nuclear testing on an equal basis with other powers. Once again, Donald's directive followed Putin's announcement of successful trials involving a nuclear-powered drone and a nuclear-capable missile, neither of which involve explosive testing. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry emphasized that these trials do not qualify as nuclear tests and expressed hope that the U.S. commander had been accurately briefed. Look at this. Donald defends nuclear testing order amid global pushback. Donald has ordered the Pentagon to resume nuclear testing for the first time since 1962, citing the need to match programs in the Bear and the Red Dragon. In a Truth Social post, Donald said the U.S. must test on an equal basis with other nuclear powers, claiming the country holds the largest arsenal. Once again, the announcement came ahead of Donald meeting with the Red Dragon leader during his Asia tour. Speaking to reporters afterward aboard Air Force One, Donald said, with others doing testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also. but did not specify when or where tests will begin. The move has drawn sharp criticism from lawmakers and international officials. Representative Dina of Nevada vowed to introduce legislation to block testing, while Senator Ed called the decision reckless. The Red Dragon urged the U.S. to honor its commitment to the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and maintain global stability. The Bear, which revoked its CTBT ratification in 2023, recently tested a nuclear power missile. The Bear officials warned they would respond. They would respond in kind if the U.S. breaks the moratorium. The last U.S. nuclear tests occurred in Nevada underground in 1992. Wow. You have all these news coming out, guys. I would keep it updated with this one here. DEFCON warning is out of control. So Donald, he really sparked a lot of stuff here. Donald really woke up a lot of people, and these people are not pleased. They're sending an urgent message to the Donald. Stop. Don't do it. This will spark something. And yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But so far we haven't heard nothing from the Donald. And yeah, like I said, guys, I will keep it updated with all this news. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Check out the video I posted today. The link will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.